Welcome to Zachert Stadium on the campus of Notre Vista High School in Riverside. Another edition of the Riverside TV Game of the Week featuring the Trojans of Hillcrest and the undefeated Bulldogs of 6-0 Hemet. Nick Rice joined by John Rice. We look at Hillcrest set to take the field, a Trojan club off to a very hot start led by young and emerging head coach Travis Carter.
And then we have the Hemet Bulldogs, who are undefeated at 6-0, and they were winners in their opener last week against Pauley, 47-27. They're banged up a little bit. We're not too sure what that means. They're definitely a physical football team. The coaching staffs that we've talked to, very complimentary about their physical style of play. The staff has been there for many of the coaches since 1997, so there's a lot of consistency, and the program's on a roll, and it'll be a challenge for both the squads tonight.
The undefeated Hemet Bulldogs hit the road about an hour and a half to Notre Vista High School to take on Hillcrest. The Bulldogs are 6-0 for the first time since 2004, and Hillcrest is 5-1 for the first time since 2017. A win today, and it would be the greatest start to a season in program history. And, John, the way that they've done it is by this dazzling quarterback and a running back in Alfredo Vences, who's been very productive this year.
You know, and last week in the second half versus Arlington, they had a big lead, and when they needed to stem the tide of the comeback by Arlington, they controlled the ball on offense, and the running game just took over in the second half. So they were multifaceted, and now they're more of a balanced team. We'll see if they can continue that tonight.
Yeah, this team proved last week, to your point, more than just some of the playmakers. They're a very deep, well-balanced football team, and they just got a little bit stronger with a few transfers that were cleared finally for league play. And you saw that offense last week account for over 400 yards and 35 points to win their league opener at Arlington.
Looking forward to a great game tonight.
77 degrees, a beautiful early evening from Riverside. That slight breeze is coming in, and we begin with an onside kick. What a play call from Travis Carter, and it's picked up by Zaya Guerrero. They do signal a recovery, Trojan football.
And here we go. Hemet definitely surprised, and we see the body language coming off. They're a little surprised now. They'll be put to the challenge right away. Coach Carter and staff trying to set the tone right now and get off to a great start.
And
good way to start the ball game.
Yeah, and we talked to Travis before the week going into the game, and, you know, there's just a level of nervousness considering the opponent he's playing tonight.
All right, so we have Hemet coming out, and definitely a 3-3 stack defense, a little bit different.
Matthew Ramos, number 3, out of bounds on a gain of a couple. This might be the toughest challenge Travis Carter has all year. Hemet is not just undefeated, they are a big physical football team, by the words of Travis Carter himself.
First drive is always very interesting to find out what the offensive staff has come up with and where they think they can attack to be effective.
And their attack is led by number 3, Matthew Ramos, the league leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Also a fantastic runner. His pass is juggled from Fajardo and dropped. Ramos this year, 1,222 passing yards, 464 rushing yards, and a total of 24 touchdowns in just 6 games.
Fajardo just unable to hang on to that one. Might have had a little gain up there with great blocking on the perimeter.
Louis Fajardo, much more of a ground and pound thumping back at 5'5", 155. He'll flank Matthew Ramos on the third play of this drive, begun on the onside kick recovery from Zaya Guerrero.
Looked like you might have some pressure coming from Hemet to the top of the screen over there.
And so 7 in the box.
Hillcrest changed their play, and apparently they took a little bit too long. So the little game that was going on is how many defensive players does Hemet put up to service between the tackles, which is called the box, and then how many will they place to defend the trips? And as you see there, they have 2 to defend 3, and so that's an advantage for the offense for many teams.
Despite the long down and distance, Ramos tried to tuck it. The ball comes loose, and the officials are trying to figure out who came away with this one, and it is Hemet. Off of the onside kick recovery, the Trojans go backwards. A penalty backed them up 2, and a turnover gives Hemet good field position.
Great field position. As you look at the replay here after the kickoff, and then Hemet is able to stem the tide there and get a 3 and out, actually a 2 and a fumble. So now they start at the 49-yard line, and we'll see for the first time how they're going to attack Hillcrest defense.
Struggling a bit with our replay early. It appeared Matthew Ramos on the read option muffed the snap, and the whole play went awry. Hemet has the ball at the 49 of Hillcrest to begin, and their quarterback, Draven Lopez, lines up in the empty on 1st and 10. Design run, you'll see a lot of that today. Lopez is buried in the backfield, taken down by Jose Beltran, his 3rd sack of the season.
Hemet doing the same thing. One of the strategies coaches will use is to go empty and take all the running backs out and see how the defense adjusts. And they try to clear that out and have a quarterback run game, and Hillcrest defense did a good job defending that. So now you got 2nd and long.
Draven Lopez, 14 of 22, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns and an interception, and a marvelous game last week for the Bulldogs, a league opening win at Pauley, 40-26. A quick slant, and he finds his man to the 40, a gain of 11, and right at the first down line, they do give him the first to the 39 of Hillcrest. 6'3", 195-pound Christopher Washington with his first grab of the day. This Hemet offense this season, averaging 37.5 points per game, is going to be tough to beat. On the outcut yet again, there is number 15, Tyler Trout with the catch.
So we've seen a couple passes completed in a row to move the chains, and Hemet is certainly able to run the football and has shown that they can do that. It'll open up their playbook if they can throw the ball and then make Hillcrest defend both and be multi-dimensional in offense for Hemet.
And this is why that muffed snap really hurts, because this Hemet offense is capable of scoring on just about every drive. You've got to figure a way to, if not beat them, at least keep them on the sideline. The Bulldogs get an extra possession here, and they are off and running early.
Little game within a game of how they're going to defend 3 receivers here at the bottom. You see 3 receivers, and strategy into
Lopez throws the jump ball to Washington. Touchdown, Hemet.
And you'll see on the replay that they got single coverage. Defensive back playing man-to-man. As you see here, at the corner's coming in late. The safety number 2 is over the top on the hash, and it's one-on-one. So they took a shot, just laid it up. Ryan Stride.
Beautiful catch and run. You could almost look at Hillcrest defensively. It appeared that they were late to get the signal in, late to react to the snap. It all went awry throughout that drive, and the Bulldogs, with ease on 3 plays, go 51 yards and cap it off with the touchdown to Washington. 7-0, 2 minutes and 1 second into the game.
So we got 9:59, so Hillcrest definitely wants to settle down on offense. And here you got another replay of Hillcrest defense coming in late, and you have the corner pressed at the top. 1-step drop. Receiver ran by him, and defensive corner unable to stay in stride, and a great throw and catch. And you look for more of that later in the game. If they've got it once, they'll try to come back to it most likely.
Nick Rice joined by longtime Pauley coach, longtime CIF coach, and a CIF champion coach in John Rice. So how many days during the week are you practicing quarterback and receiver, that type of play?
Usually in warm-ups, there's some kind of fade drill where you're throwing the ball up with somebody shadowing the defensive player. So, and then you run that in 7-on-7 and team. So it's kind of mixed in throughout the day, depending on what you're going to get. And sometimes that's a check automatically if they get single coverage. There's some kind of signal where they can take advantage of that.
Well, you run it quite a bit in practice, going into practice at the very least. Hard to replicate that in a game, along with the breakout speed from the Trojans. Ray Kosi, he's down the sideline and strolls in. But the officials, they're talking about whether he's out, and he was at the 23-yard line.
So, nice answer. That's the way to answer a touchdown.
Fajardo, not Kosi, with a great return.
And Coach Carter complimented Hemet in all phases of the game and said their special teams were coached very well. So you have a nice break, a nice cut outside, and now you have the Hillcrest Trojans with the ball at the 22-yard line.
A fabulous return, not the touchdown by a matter of inches, as we look at that play again. Early movement and a false start. Nicholas Bernal, by our apologies, there on the return. A sophomore, part of a very young but talented brass for Hillcrest. We've played a bit over 2 minutes. From a fumble of Matthew Ramos to a false start yet again, Hillcrest looks quite a bit out of sorts in the first quarter.
You know, and they had a few unexpected, uncharacteristic penalties last week, and I'm sure that's something they worked on in practice in a practical way. And again, they need, I'm sure they'll get settled down and get into some rhythm here.
6-0 Hemet, 5-1 Hillcrest. Glad you're with us on Riverside TV, part of our doubleheader today. As Jeff and Gazal man the crew of our other game on Riverside TV between the Kens, Ramona and Notre Vista.
If we get a replay of this, you'll take a look at the things that are, you know, not characteristic for people to look at. You look at the ball, you follow the ball, but without the perimeter blocking by the receivers, that play doesn't happen. So again, great job on offense, springing the quarterback, and we can see that's one of the strategies they're going to employ. He's run the ball for an effective run, and now we have 2nd and 7.
Ramos gets rid of it quickly and finds his very inviting receiver over the middle. Number 2, Julian Sandoval, last week went wild. 9 catches, 185 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He is some football player.
And they do move him around, and sometimes he's into the 3 receiver side here. They'll show at the bottom. As you notice, he's on the inside of the 3 receivers, and then sometimes they'll put him at the top in the single side.
Ramos, he hands to Fajardo. It doesn't do much. Luis Fajardo, not just the start today at running back, in for the injured Alfredo Vences. He is out today after coming into the game 3rd in the league in rushing. That is a big loss. Fajardo's doing his best, but Vences brings a level of explosion to this offense.
Single coverage at the top.
Off the fake to Fajardo. Ramos trying to take advantage of the single coverage, but number 2, James Abner, brings him down.
Great rush by Hemet, flushing him out of the pocket, and they're able to contain him. As you look here, you'll see in the very corner at the top, you have single coverage down in the red zone. He's looking to the trip side. He's unable to see that open, and they're able to contain him, catch him from behind.
A savvy play by the veteran quarterback, Matthew Ramos. Hands to Fajardo. No, he fakes to Fajardo. That was some play fake from Matthew Ramos. Touchdown. Hudson Nguyen reels it in, but the play fake got everyone fooled, and the Trojans are on the board.
Beautiful job. They added a blocker in the formation. You'll notice there is what's called an H-back. He's a tight end that's off the line, and it gave the appearance of a run formation. And they were able to fake a run play and then boot out away, and great run fake, great play call. And now we've got going to have a tie ball game here if we can convert.
The extra point is up, and that kick is good.
So if we get the replay, here we go. You want to take a look at the run fake. Everybody is going to the defensive right here, and then he'll pull the ball and get around the defensive end, and then you see a great ball placement and scoot into the end zone. So here we go. We've got a ball game. We have 2 unanswered drives here. We have at 7:29 left. Not even 5 minutes gone, and we have 7-7.
First touchdown catch of the season from Hudson Nguyen, who was not just open. I mean, that defense was completely fooled.
Settle in. Looks like it's going to be a great ball game from 2 high-achieving football teams. Looking forward to the rest of the game.
You know, like every now and then hopping into a car, sometimes it takes a minute to get adjusted to the feel of things. And Hillcrest, you couldn't have asked for a worse 4 minutes of football minus the onside kick. They just looked out of sorts. Something happened there to begin that second drive after the false start as they turned the whole thing around to go the distance and score the touchdown.
You know, execution, getting into your game plan, muscle memory from practice, confidence just to settle down and execute. Do your job. I'm sure the coaches on both sides have had a good game plan. They know what they want to do, and it's just great to see them overcome a penalty, and hopefully they won't do that the rest of the night. Because last week it did hinder them against Arlington, and they were able to overcome it.
These are the 2 best teams in the league, so you certainly should expect your fair share of ebbs and flows in today's game. The spin and the run. Ki Asul Pitchford down the sideline, and he is finally wrapped up at the 18.
The fundamentals of tackling, sometimes taken for granted, but that the receiver was able to make him miss on a simple bubble screen. Right here we have a great attempt, but blocking on the perimeter by both receivers, and now we have, instead of a loss, we have the ball down deep in Hillcrest territory at the 15-yard line.
As mentioned, Lopez threw for 255 and 4 touchdowns last week. He may have that by the end of the first quarter. A spectacular start out of this veteran quarterback, a 6-foot senior who won the job over Abner Carrillo as the team's #1 quarterback going into the year, and he has impressed all season. Lopez part of a 4-receiver package, and he's going back to the air immediately and finds his man on the sideline in Brandon Castro, or Christopher Washington, my apologies.
Now, if you take a look at this one, now you have the corner playing off. They switched strategies. There was a touchdown on press man coverage. So, nice job there, given the appearance of a deep route, short pass, and then spinning to the inside, and another missed tackle. So, I'm sure they're going to be talking about wrapping up and getting everybody to the football.
Just the 4th play of this drive for Hemet. And from 5 yards out, Drew Neal with a gaping hole on the left side. He's in for the touchdown. And for Hillcrest, that drive, considering how they looked to close last week, has to be pretty frustrating.
Well, there you go. So you have that drive started with about 7:29.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a little over a minute and a half to score. So, again, both offenses seem to have hit their rhythm, and we're 13-7 as they line up for the PAT. And we're still halfway through the first quarter.
And this PAT from Oscar Reyes, 75% this season on point afters, hit the last one and drills this one. Well, when we were here a couple weeks ago for our debut, Hillcrest was in the midst of a dominant preseason. They crushed La Sierra and Lakeside by a complete score of 93-0. And for the first time last week, they faced a little adversity against the Arlington Lions. Gave up the late second half rally to make it a game last week. And then today, they're facing a team in Hemet that is capable of scoring on every drive.
Yeah, and that you've got 2 touchdowns given up on their first 2 drives here is...
They're on pace for 116, Coach. Just throwing that out there.
Exciting start to the game, and one of the things, the coaches love to do and players love to do is rebound from adversity, and they have that television we've talked about before down on the field where the coaches will talk to the players, strategize a little bit, come back out. I'm sure they'll talk about wrapping up on their tackles. And that one was largely a result of a few missed tackles. Something very correctable.
Oscar Reyes sending a bit of a squib kick, which Nicholas Bernal let go at the last moment, and it bounces out at about the 37. Robert Bustamante, who is expected to have a significant role in this offense tonight, he was the one who reeled in the squib kick.
Here we go, Nick. Here we go. An exciting ball game.
Oh, we're just getting started.
On Riverside TV. I mean, this Sun Belt League looks to be very exciting this year. You have Hemet, you have Hillcrest, you have Pauley, you have Rancho Christian playing Pauley tonight. You have Valley View, and it seems to be like it's going to be a very exciting league.
Well, you want to know what else is exciting? The NLDS. It's 2-0 Dodgers in the top of the 8th. We'll give you score updates of what is basically the World Series in California over the course of tonight as well.
You know, and having grown up in California and having been a Padre fan, you know what? I do know that's going on right now, but just never been able, and I'm putting myself out there, but I've just never been able to embrace the blue. I'm sorry, sir.
What?
It's brown and gold or die.
Yeah, you know what?
Padres.
Same here. I'm just
Padres.
messing with you.
Yep.
Shohei didn't move the needle for you?
Yep. Well, we'll have to see what happens. So they're playing with no safety. They changed their strategy.
By the way, you're not going to see what happens. You're going to hear what happens right here on Riverside TV. Sorry, we don't have the stream of that game.
Yep.
I don't know what you're trying to promise. Draven Lopez, the tackle of Brooklyn Hughes, to Jacob McDowell, first down.
Nice play design with a run fake, and then they're going to draw up the defense and throw a slant. If you look at the two receivers here at the bottom, you'll see a slant route, but they're going back live. So you have a great start here by Hillcrest.
Well, for fans interested in defense and punting, you've come to the worst place. Louis Fajardo with a first down to the 28, a 17-yard run on the play.
2 for 2. They seem to have found their rhythm, and the coaching staff has definitely found some things that they want to attack. They're in rhythm. They're going with a little bit of tempo. Now we're going that empty set again with no with no running backs.
Here's a look at that play once again.
So now if we go back live, you see no running backs, and you see 4 receivers to one side and a quarterback run.
Ramos gets crushed on a pickup of about 3. Ramos is averaging 8 yards a run this season. Statistically, he's a very good option running the football. It almost makes you wonder why they don't feature him more in design running.
You know, and last week in the second half, he really took over, put that offense on his back, and they ran some clock, and he personally carried that football team on a few drives when it mattered most in the third and fourth quarter.
And that was, as Fajardo gets crushed, a critical drive. Arlington chipped away at the Hillcrest lead, which was at one point 27-7. They made it a one-score game with 3 minutes left, attempted an onside kick, which Hillcrest recovered, but the Lions figured, we don't get the onside, that's fine, we should be able to stop them. Ramos, Fajardo, and that offensive line took control of the final few minutes.
You know, that one drive to cut it to one score was a result of an interception, so we want to eliminate unforced errors, and they were able to do that last
Ramos, week. With just 5 interceptions thrown this season to the tune of 17 touchdown passes. He loses the ball on a sack, but Fajardo is there to dive on it. The Bulldogs' pass rush has been spectacular. James Abner in the area again.
So you want to take a look at the top portion of the screen, and they have a outside linebacker who will come unblocked. Okay, actually, defensive back comes late.
Draven Lopez, who is the quarterback, is
so now you have a different situation. You have 3rd and long. Okay. Now that you're way behind the sticks.
Yeah,
not too many plays in the playbook when you get down to this kind of call situation.
Yeah, for
they
4th
choose
and
to go
22,
empty.
Immediate pressure. Ramos looking, throws a jump ball, and he's got a man out there, Julian Sandoval. There is a lot of interference. Is there a flag to couple with it? No.
He did a great job avoiding the rush. He had pressure from up the middle, and you'll see him sidestep the rush, escape to his left. You'll see a free rusher Okay, they only rushed 3 rushers. The nose guard was able to come. He did a great job getting to his left and throwing the ball up. And he was open early, Nick. It looked like he was open at this point right here. He's open.
Yeah, a lot of contact before the ball got there from Draven Lopez. And Julian Sandoval got the worst of it. He's being tended to by the medical staff down on the sideline. Julian Sandoval, the league leader in catches, yards, and touchdowns, on pace to go for over 1,300 yards this season. Number 2, senior wideout Julian Sandoval. Off the play fake, Lopez immediately throws and finds Quentin Skinner on a hitch, and he's got the first and a whole lot more.
You know, something to be able to take a look at the rest of the game is when they have 3 receivers to one side, which is a trips formation, that puts 1 receiver opposite, and how the defense chooses to line up to that will dictate sometimes where they throw the ball. Because they were able to throw a touchdown pass with the defensive back up tight, now if you take a look there at the bottom of the screen, the defensive back is off, and they're able to break his cushion and throw a couple short passes. So that touchdown opened up part of their game to the single receiver side, throwing the ball short.
Draven Lopez coming in, completing 67% of his throws, but he has yet to miss in today's game. Meanwhile, their running back, number 3, a 5'6", Drew Neal, just a sophomore, but he has turned into one of the best backs in the area. 155 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. It just goes to show the Bulldogs are more than just the passing game. They've got the running game to boot.
And especially since they were able to take advantage of the passing game, and they're not being one-dimensional. So, again, take a look at the bottom. They seem to want to go to a trips formation, and as you see, the cornerback is about 10 yards off.
Reminiscent of that Patriots-Seahawks Super Bowl where they ran the trips and the Malcolm Butler play in the end zone. Very tough to cover that trips formation, and they in fact throw on all 5 wideouts in the pattern. Lopez to Pitchford at the 40, and he is stuffed at the 35. While it is a positive gain, that was a well-covered defensive play by Hillcrest.
You know, they went a wide bunch, and then they put the receiver out, and they count numbers. And if you don't put enough defenders, they threw a little bubble screen out there. They blocked on their perimeter, and they were able to hold them to a short gain.
Yeah, I just feel bad, John, for guys in today's day playing defense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see a trips like that, the whole side of the field is open.
Got to be ready. As a defensive coach, you got to put your players in a position to be successful.
End of the first, 14-7 Hemet, and for Draven Lopez, he's not only been good, he's been perfect. A Jared Goff type performance who went perfect a couple weeks ago against Seattle. Lopez having yet to throw an incompletion, 2 touchdowns, and the Bulldogs are up by 7 at the end of 1.
You know, and the key for Hemet is to be able to mix up their play, start out with a passing game to be effective in the short game. Even the touchdown pass was not a long pass. So they're able to get to the perimeter, throw the ball short, a couple hitches, a few missed tackles to maintain possession, and 1 turnover on downs by Hillcrest, and we have a 14-7 ball game.
Meanwhile, Ramona, with a minute left in the first quarter against Novi, likewise leads the Braves 14-7. That is our other game of our Riverside TV doubleheader. 14-7 here, 14-7 there. Meanwhile, at the end of 8, the Dodgers lead the Padres 2-0. San Diego has 3 outs to go. Otherwise, the Dodgers will be advancing to the NLCS.
Wow. Wouldn't that be a sad thing for Padre fans? Oh man, I'll never hear the end of it.
Let's see. What's the we'll get the exact lineup and what is going on there in just a moment. 14-7 the lead for Hemet. Glad you're with us. Nick Rice, John Rice from Zach Earp and Novi. Travis Carter guiding the Trojans to their best 6-game start since 2017. Hemet, their best 6-game start in 20 years. A matchup of 2 of the great teams in the area and 2 of the greatest starts in program history. Drew Neal, number 3, begins the second quarter, a gain of about 6 on the play.
Hemet in their stride now, throwing the ball and running it. And if they're able to be effective running and throwing, it could end up being a game last week where they end up scoring 47 points, throwing and running the ball with success.
This team averages just a hair under 38 points per game this season. And as mentioned, has gone over 40 on a couple occasions, including last week. Lopez tipped, but it's reeled in off of the deflection from a leaping Tyler Trout, number 15.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and that time they were a little bit both. Good play design to get a receiver into the flat. Quarterback rolls out. Play is defended well. Ball is tipped and takes a fortuitous direction after the tip.
Robert Bustamante, number 5, their lead middle linebacker, ranks second in the Sun Belt in tackles with 54 this year going into the game. Lopez with a seam. Races to the sideline and sheds a tackle. The 15, the 10, and run out inside that 10-yard line. First and goal at the 6.
Again, effective play design, and Hillcrest defender unable to make a tackle. And again, a third missed tackle was ending up being resulting in a big gain. So the plays are being defended schematically well, but tackling is sometimes an underappreciated talent. When you give up big plays, usually a missed tackle, a missed assignment, or somebody loafing.
By the way, we're in the second quarter, not the first. 2 minutes in, Bulldogs with the ball, first and goal after the missed tackle and the big run from Lopez. And Neal, dragged down by Martinez, picks up about 4 of the 6 they needed. Second and goal.
So we have a personnel change. We have 3 big linemen, which is usually a defensive goal line package. You get bigger bodies in there to stop the interior run. So when we get a wide shot, you'll see some big bodies. There are 3 of them who came in down. And this is the same formation where the quarterback ran the ball outside on first down. We'll see what they decide to do here.
They will go run with Neal, the tailback, out of the pistol. A touchdown for Drew Neal, his 4th of the year.
Now we have a two-score ball game, and that was a real quick drive. And I'm sure if you're on the Hillcrest sideline, you're just emphasizing how important it is not to miss, to fly to the ball, to make sound tackles, so that you make them earn their touchdowns and their drives are extended into opportunities where they have to run a lot of plays. So we got to get going here on some tackling and pursuit to the ball. I'm sure that's something they'll correct.
This Bulldogs offense, too, is the real deal, a major measuring stick for this Hillcrest program. The Bulldogs have scored touchdowns in each of their first 3 drives, and really, outside of, I believe, once, they have yet to really face a third down situation. They've been doing a lot of this on early downs.
Great point. Great point. And we also know that Hillcrest has big play capability, and they're able to score with long plays, quick strikes, and they do spread the ball out. And they're able to score very quickly, and so they're not going to be out of this game by any means when it's a 2-score ball game with 9:21 left in the half.
So you talked to Travis Carter in our on-the-field post-game last week against Arlington, and he had mentioned the mistakes. Those mistakes go beyond just turnovers and penalties. Sometimes something as simple as, establishing the edge defensively can turn a Lopez short run into a 23-yard one, which we saw in that last drive.
Yep, and like I said, a few wiser coaches than myself throughout the years would
exist?
A lot of them. I'm just, try to learn from them. And what they would say is, look, when there's a big play, it's usually going to be a missed tackle, a missed assignment, or somebody not hustling. And so we've had the case of just a few missed tackles that Hemet has taken advantage of. And now Hillcrest is being called on to answer, down 2 scores with 9 minutes left in the half.
We've seen on Riverside TV teams dominate the regular season and go into the playoffs totally shell-shocked by the level of competition they play, a la Novi last year. there's something to be said about playing a team at the top of the league like this in Hemet and just the sort of challenge that you can build on moving forward. Louis Fajardo with a big run of the middle. In fact, a gain of 20 and a first down to begin this drive.
Hey, Nick, great point about scheduling, not scheduling so-called cupcakes. You want to strategically schedule so that you have a few games that you can win, you should win, and then some that you might win and some that are challenges. So you can make your team better by, like you said, performing against teams that are physically stronger and maybe athletically superior. Makes your team better, and you gain confidence so that when you do go into playoffs, like you said, that you're not shell-shocked. Unfortunately, Norte Vista last year got moved up to play Loyola in Division 4, which was tough for them.
And they sure were shell-shocked. Hillcrest last year went 5-6. They began the year, it should be noted, 1-5. Unlike the 5-1 start this season, they ran the table to close the year and were knocked out by Linfield Christian 46-36 in Division 9. Here's Matthew Ramos, who's taken down to midfield, maybe the 49 of Hemet.
You know, if we do see the replay, what you don't see is the coaching. Basic drill every day is a rush from the outside, and Ramos will be able to step up to avoid the blitzing linebacker. He steps up, avoids the rush, and then he shuffles to his right. That's a daily drill that most quarterbacks run with their quarterback coach to handle rush, to step up, sidestep, and get up the field. Great job.
You know, pocket awareness is such a valuable part of just how good a quarterback can be. Ramos hands to Fajardo, who turns what could have been a disastrous loss into a first down. What a run from Fajardo. Jaden Griffin finally made the stop. First down.
You know, encouraging to see Hillcrest calm down and do what they do best. They have a wide variety of weapons. Fajardo's contributing now, as you'll see him break a tackle here. Seems like he stopped. Good play. Nice spin.
Many may be saying Alfredo Vences, a big loss with him out, but Fajardo wants to raise his hand and say, I'm pretty good too, and a first down. Ramos hammered at the 43-yard line.
And I'm sure that the Hillcrest coaches are aware that they have committed some defenders to taking away Ramos, and usually it's a game of resources. Where on defense are you going to employ your resources, your players, to take away something? So they have committed 6 players, 7 players to the line of the scrimmage, as you can see up there. And then they blitz an outside linebacker, and they call a screen. Great call.
Gain of 2 to Julian Sandoval.
And so I think what Hemet is shown by their alignment is they're committing some defenders to stopping Ramos in his run game, but that will always open up something on the outside. And if you take a look right there at the shot of the Hemet defensive backs, they're off 10 yards. They're off 10 yards on the corners. There's nobody lined up on number 2, and I'm sure the offensive staff has calls to take advantage of that alignment. I mean, they've got 7 defenders trying to defend the run right now.
Off of the play fake, Matthew Ramos has got a first down to the 30. This is some athlete that Hillcrest has at quarterback. A gain of 9.
Yep, great call. Ramos just reads the defensive end, and if he chases the running back, you'll see him read the defensive end at the top. He'll pull the ball. And then great block on the perimeter. Great block.
You can see the offensive linemen were trying to figure out what to do.
Awesome. Just a nice execution. Ramos involved, and again, you still keep that passing game for when you need it. And if you can run the ball with 7 defenders in the box, you only have 5 offensive linemen, so that's 5 to block 7. And I know you don't want to get too complicated, but it is a matter of, on offense, you're just trying to draw 1 blocker for 1 defender, and when you run out of blockers, then you're at a disadvantage. And when Ramos can run the ball, just creates more opportunity for the passing game when they need it as well.
Yeah, you know, Matthew Ramos, what makes him so good is his, kind of pre-snap awareness, and once he takes the snap, his ability to read a defense. all the things that you learn with a coach like Travis Carter, who's more than just the X's and O's guy. He kind of knows kind of 2 steps ahead what a defense is doing.
Isn't he exciting to see?
Sure
here's a little counter. Take a look at Hillcrest now has put another blocker, a potential blocker as a tight end at the top of the screen. And so now they've taken a receiver out and put a tight end to counter and have more blockers in the box. So now they have 6 blockers for 7 defenders. So a little game within a game going on between the staffs.
With the defensive backs way off in coverage. Ramos sees that, hit as he throws, and some miscommunication is passed to Sandoval short.
Great job on the pass rush. Hemet's been able to have some pressure up the middle. Their interior defensive line has done a wonderful job pushing the pocket back, as they say,
right,
and creating some opportunities for their defense maybe on an interception or an errant throw.
You know, Coach, that play, if Sandoval runs a short pattern, it's him versus the defensive back, and Sandoval needs to break a tackle to score a touchdown,
and
just one.
And there's Ramos and Sandoval, and I'm sure they'll throw the ball to him again. And sometimes there's a miscommunication. Last week you talk about that situation. What happened was on the interception on the second drive of the half by Arlington, there was a mix-up in communication, and the ball was thrown, and we found out from Coach Carter that, that interaction between the receiver and the quarterback post-snap sometimes determines where they're going to throw the ball. So great observation about
post-snap.
Yep, post-snap.
That is interesting.
Yep. So as you see down at the bottom how far off the defenders are playing. And they're off a long way.
Ramos looking deep will instead tuck it and gain a yard, maybe 2. And Ramos is wincing in pain right now, holding on to his
that's not good
midsection.
Bad for, and Travis heading out there, and hopefully we get the training staff out, and that would take away a great part of their offense, and we'll see if we can see what happened here to Ramos. Again, escapability, pocket presence, as you talked about.
I landed on the football with his chest.
Where do they seem to be? They're attending to, maybe he lost his wind. It doesn't seem to be. They are looking at his right knee. Does it look like, Travis, there?
Yeah, potentially
maybe
he landed on that knee. We didn't quite catch it.
They were feeling the left ankle there. Great shot by the camera crew and the production. Great shot.
Award-winning camera crew.
Great job. Great job in the truck. Unappreciated. Do a great job. And here we got a replay, and now we can maybe focus in on Ramos and his knee. It seems to be his right knee maybe when he came down. See if we can take a look and see if he comes down on his right knee here, right there.
Maybe we might be also not looking enough at his left ankle that gets pulled.
And they did, as you mentioned, they did.
But it looks like they're working more on the right leg. So, sometimes it's accumulation over the course of a football game.
Sure. And, you just never know. I mean, football, it's a game played at high speeds. People are going full speed. Turf, there are some turf, and this is a new field, should have that bounceability factor where you have the little – actually, they're made – some of the fields are made, with the little rubber pellets, and that's supposed to cushion blows. But if you hit it hard, and it's good to see that he's walking – and we'll see. Of course, you have to come out. If the rule says if play is stopped and you send trainers out, the rule mandates you come out for one play at least.
I got to say, he might be out for more than a play.
So we'll see. I mean, they are actually carrying him, and he's not using it. So now we're going to have a quarterback change, and we'll see what that'll be and how that affects Hillcrest execution.
We're going to look at that running play from Ramos one more time. Yeah, just landed on that right knee. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's not the initial sorry for folks who got this about 5 minutes ago. It's not the initial tackle. When he falls down, the defensive lineman twist his leg to the right. Part of me hopes that we get to see that one more
Great
time.
job in the truck, fellas.
Right.
Great job giving this
Somehow
those
I didn't
views.
see that, but yeah, that looked like a pretty significant play. Dylan Bailey's first pass of the year, and it's nearly picked off the deflection, tipped by Draven Lopez.
Bold call. Quarterback comes in, confidence on fourth down.
Can we see that replay one more time? Any chance we could get
that,
guys?
We overthrew. He overthrew the short route. There was a post route, which is a deep route by the outside man, and you're going to see their number one receiver here in the slot at the bottom run Sandoval about 10 to 15 yards and then cross the middle. And I think they're trying to hit him. He's open, and the ball's thrown a little bit behind him.
Boy, that ball really came out funky, didn't it?
Yeah. Here we go. Turnover on downs.
So
3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the half. 2-score ball game.
By the way, Dodgers defeat the Padres 2-0 in that game final in L.A.
You know, this is a football broadcast. Did you know that, Nick?
I sure did.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people celebrating, but you know what? I'm not one of them.
You're not one of them.
I'm not one of them. Okay.
If I said that it was the other way around, would all of a sudden this not be a football
But I would be
broadcast?
humble. I would be humble in victory, as you know
what's
you
funny
should be.
about people who brag about how humble they are?
They're not humble.
Usually not
because they're
humble.
bragging about being humble.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, man.
That's a good point. Touche. Touche. I love that.
I just throwing it out there.
All right, so we'll see with 2:48 if we're willing to hang on the ball or make an effort here to throw the ball. Great broken tackle there.
On the run is Keasul Pitchford, and he gets a block from his quarterback and is finally shoved out of bounds. Both Richards and Guerrero knock him out, but it seemed every Trojan defender got a chance, and none of them can make the tackle.
So first time we see a wide run, which is a jet sweep, them attacking the perimeter, and a missed tackle. You have a missed tackle. You have another defender unable to make a play, a third.
Wow.
So you have three defenders unable to make a play, and then you have a great effort, and then a long gain again to move the ball down to the 39-yard line.
A masterful run.
2:29 left.
Hammett a chance to make it 4 for 4. Neal the call, and he picks up a couple. Before we look at the next play, quick look around the Inland Empire of scores around the area. Arlington and Valley View and Moreno Valley tied at 14. Hemet leads Hillcrest, as you can see here, 21-7. Ramona and our other Riverside TV game, our last update was 14-7. We'll get a further update in a moment on that. King over Corona yesterday, 45-10, and Centennial blanked Vista Marietta 63-0.
That is surprising. I mean, Vista Marietta, Cola-Kendall, that program is on the rise, and to see Centennial come out and lay up 63, maybe they're hitting their stride. I mean, very unexpected score.
Right. Now, it is their second straight loss, Vista Marietta, after a good start to the season. The pass is complete to Tyler Trout for the first down, wrapped up by Robert Lozano. Ramona still up over Novi 14-7. That game in the final 2.5 minutes of the second quarter.
Play design on that was to draw the defense up, and you'll see the inside receiver here at the bottom come right over the middle and replace the linebackers. And great read, he just replaces right behind him. Great ball placement. Could have ran over the ref.
Play fake to Neal. The pass towards the end zone into coverage. Was that picked off? Yes. What a play defensively. Wow. Third interception of the last 7 days. What a defensive player they've got. Number 8, Noah Mayweather.
You know, Noah, excellent. If you look at the coverage at the top, he's playing his technique. His eyes are on the receiver. He gets in good body position. He makes a great turn on the ball, outplays him. Great job. Fantastic. And you wonder about that play call when you're running the ball down the field and then you take a shot with 47 seconds left when they've been moving the ball all the way down the field. Fortunately for Hillcrest, Noah came up with a big play there. So now you got 47 seconds left, and we'll see what we can get done here on Hillcrest. See if they can
Hillcrest
get on
with
the
all their
scoreboard.
Timeouts. The handoff to Louis Fajardo gets a block from his quarterback.
Look at Fajardo.
And Fajardo's
Look at
got
him.
a foot race to the end zone. The 40, the 30. Washington to beat, and he throws him down to the 16.
Wow, the clock is still running.
Timeout called by Travis Carter. He's still calling for
Okay,
it.
28
and the officials
seconds.
finally called at
Wow.
28. Travis Carter called that at 38, by the way, John.
So I'll tell you what, it seemed like, running the ball in that situation, maybe you're willing to run out the clock and go in and regroup, and then you have a play like this, a missed tackle, another missed tackle, great block by Ramos, and now that switches your strategy. Ball's down there at the 15-yard line. You've got time on the clock, 39 seconds, and now you've got an opportunity to score and make it a one-score ball game. That could be a game changer if they can take advantage here and reduce that lead.
Out goes Alfredo Vences from last week with injury, a guy who ran for over 1,000 yards last season and was on pace to do that again. And little 5'5" Louis Fajardo comes in. And, America loves the underdog story. Fajardo, a guy that has been playing that backup role for years at Hillcrest. He gets his opportunity as the number one back tonight and has just been outstanding.
Great story. We do love an underdog, don't we?
Sure
just fantastic job.
Because most of us relate
Yeah.
to an underdog.
If you look at that setup, there's no safety playing back there. Okay, so they committed everybody to the run, a miscue. But if you're going to put all those defenders up, I'm sure most offensive staffs will take note of that, whether they're willing to take a shot for the end zone, but no safety. If you take a look, again, that's just a miscue here on the handoff. And we're fortunate enough to get that ball back on the Hillcrest side. And now you got another timeout. You have 23 seconds. You have second down. And they're at the 15-yard line. And we'll see if they come out again with no safeties, which is very enticing if you're an offensive coach to put the ball up and try to take advantage, especially with Sandoval, if you can get single coverage on him. So we'll see where number 2 lines up, their dynamic receiver, and see if they try to take advantage of a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, that one-on-one got a little bit tougher after the muff snap. Part of the drama of this team is the fact they lost their running back last week, Alfredo Vences, and earlier today, for those just joining us, their starting quarterback, Matthew Ramos, went down with a knee injury on what was a gruesome play with the defender twisting his leg on the right side. Dylan Bailey, number 13, notches the snaps, and it looks like for Ramos being tended to by the medical staff, his status in the remainder of the half, he's out. We'll see if he plays in the
There's
second.
one-on-one.
There
we go.
To the end zone, and it's tipped away by Pitchford.
And we just talked about that. They put Sandoval down there and lined him up in single coverage with no safety help. Nicely placed ball. He was just unable to come up with a catch. And if you take a look at that, nobody behind him, no safety, everybody committed to the run. They blitzed off the edge, one-step drop, beautiful ball placement, just tipped at the last second.
Bailey overthrows. There's a late penalty flag down on the end zone shot to Jacob McDowell, number 10.
So, it should be half the distance. In the NFL, again, the pro rules are it's a spot foul, and they would move the ball to the 1-yard line if the penalty took place on the end zone. But here in high school and college, it is a 15-yard penalty in the middle of the field or half the distance. So now you have the ball. They're going to walk it off, and it should be around the 7-yard line. It should be half the distance. It should be.
Penalty on Draven Lopez.
So we'll see where the ball is. Yep, they're going to put the ball at the 5. And now
Not the
you
10.
have
it was at the 20.
20. So half the distance. Thanks for the correction. So now you got 12 seconds left, and you can take a couple other shots. So where do you have single coverage? Okay, you have single coverage in any of the 4 receivers, and now
no safety.
Now there's no safety again, and the middle of the field is wide open if they decide to attack that. Let's see what they do.
Bailey locks on that left side, and he had a man open. It's intercepted, and here comes the house call. The curtains are out. It is a 100-yard return. Tyler Trout, touchdown, Hemet.
And no flags on the field. So, again, there may be maybe a miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver, it seemed.
We may have a hold on the interception return. There was a flag thrown at the 30.
We'll see if it was little balls underthrown. The ball was underthrown. Certainly, we had someone come over and make a great play. The ball will be brought back. And here's the call. Roughing the passer. We'll see if that personal foul, roughing the passer. Oh, my goodness, what another opportunity.
Right.
So the path cannot end on a defensive penalty, so you're going to get a free snap here. One play. That ball should also be moved half the distance. So you're going to get a late hit. Oh, very late hit. So instead of an interception for a touchdown, you get an undisciplined play by a defender, which you hate to see on a staff that defense has worked hard. And
they didn't call it, not to cut you off, but there was also a block in the back, which was not just a penalty, but it almost looked a little vicious right into Fajardo's back.
So
here's a look at that play again. This is dangerous.
So there's your late hit on the quarterback.
So there's a late hit there. Didn't affect the throw, and then here comes the block in the back here. You got Fajardo. I guess maybe a
they didn't catch that, and that really is an unnecessary play. So you have a bit of lack of discipline here that may or may not cost Hemet a 14-point swing. If Hillcrest can score here, instead of going into the half 28-7 in a 3-score game, if Hillcrest can score here, then you have a 1-score game. So that possibly could be a 14-point penalty or lapse in judgment and discipline.
And remember, we're already on the midst of a 7-point swing as Draven Lopez's throw to the end zone a minute ago was picked off by Mayweather. Had that ball not been intercepted, they're in prime position to score a touchdown anyways.
So you're going to get one play on time down, of course. Half cannot end on a defensive penalty, so I'm sure they'll take a shot to the end zone unless they fool everybody and hand the ball off here. All right, here we go, 5 in the route.
Bailey pumps and doesn't get the ball away. Sacked by Matthew Gregory to end the half.
Really tough. There weren't 5 men in the route. Fajardo ended up blocking the edge, and you really want to get rid of the ball and give him some kind of chance. And I'm sure they'd love to have that one back. So as you see, Fajardo comes in and blocks to the right side. You see the quarterback roll out, and you want to get the ball in the air. If at all possible, you want to throw the ball up because there's a chance for a penalty. So you want to get the ball up any way you can. And we're unable to do that. And a great job by the edge rusher. So we go in 21-7. Fortunately, it's only a 7-point swing instead of a 14-point swing as we go into half.
Ramona Novi tied at 14 at the half of that game. 21-7 Bulldogs over Trojans at the half in this game. Riverside TV continues its coverage of high school football momentarily. We have scores and an update around the league and a whole lot more coming up next. This is Riverside TV in the CIF Southern section in Riverside.
We are a community with shared values. We know our history and embrace our stories. We believe in respect. We believe in equity, We believe in justice and freedom. We are known for the way we celebrate, for how we create, and the ways we relax. We are known for our flavor and our vibe. We have built our reputation with a commitment to leadership in the areas of agriculture, engineering, creativity, economic development, and environmental responsibility. We are known for our incredible architecture, and the murals that grace our city walls. We value education. We value service. We value the self-made. We value each other. We love art. We love innovation. We love Riverside.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Convenient curbside trash collection services promote a clean and healthy Riverside. To help us provide you with top-quality service, we ask you to follow a few key rules. There are 3 different containers for your trash. The blue bin is for recyclables and should only be used for clean recyclable materials such as aluminum cans, cardboard, glass bottles, plastics, and styrofoam. The old brown bin, or new bin with gray lid, is for standard household trash and items not suitable for the other bins, such as animal waste, cactus, palm fronds, soil products, and other waste. The green barrel is for your grass clippings, leaves, weeds, and other plant materials, excluding palm fronds, cactus, and yucca. And please remember not to use any of the containers for heavy construction waste such as concrete. For a complete guide to sorting your trash, please visit riversideca.gov/publicworks.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe.
We all need to eat, but do you know where our food actually comes from? If you're like most of us, our food starts its life in a land far away, where it's picked and packed before its prime and ripens during transit rather than on the vine. From the fields to packaging facilities to ships to trucks, even airplanes, to local distribution facilities, it's a tiring journey before it ever reaches our neighborhood store. Locally grown foods, however, are harvested at the peak of ripeness and can arrive in the store or restaurant within 24 hours, retaining much more of its flavor and nutrition. So why else buy local? Buying local supports farmers and businesses. It creates jobs and raises the community's income. This Grow Riverside initiative has a long-term impact to create a higher quality of life by increasing access to nutritious food and creating local jobs and businesses that help generate sales tax revenue to support vital services such as police, fire, and our local parks. So go out and shop local, eat local, support our community while enjoying fresher, more delicious, and nutritious food. Find out more about the exciting local food movement, where community members, leaders of the local food movement, local government, and local growers come together to discuss the exciting future of sustainable local agriculture.
I get to see little girls come in and say, like, I'm gonna build a bridge, I'm gonna play with electricity, I'm gonna build a catapult, and it's so much fun to see them light up and to see that they know that they can now do this.
Kay Yang is a local entrepreneur and engineer who has had a passion for tinkering since childhood. Memories of tinkering with her dad in the garage inspired her to start her own business focused on reimagining the way engineering is taught and making STEM engaging, particularly for young girls. Her business, Tinker the Robot, provides building kits that include everything necessary to create stimulating STEM projects. Kay recently completed a series of STEM workshops in partnership with the Riverside Public Library with the goal of sparking students' innovation and making science fun and engaging.
In the library it's great because they come in with a family, they discuss, they build, they learn, they connect, they create moments, and then they can take it home and continue those moments at home. So that's really what this is all about. Helping foster self-confidence and get kids to really understand, like, they could build this, they can solve the problems of tomorrow.
There has been a very positive response from the community to these programs.
I really think that they've enjoyed it. I've had a few families that ask where I'm going to be next, and then they'll follow me to the next library just so that they can see what the next project is going to be and keep the learning going. And the staff here at the library seems to enjoy it as well. They all been very welcoming, and so yeah, I think the public generally likes it, and I think they want to see more.
For anyone with a hunger for more STEM activities, Kay offers a variety of free options as well as complete activity kits through her website.
If you guys are interested in doing any of this at home, a lot of our materials are materials you could buy at Target or Hobby Lobby or buy on Amazon. And so check out our website. You'll have to give us your email, but then we have free PDFs that you can download and do programs like this at home. We want to make sure that science and engineering is accessible and fun.
To find out more about Kay and Tinker the Robot, visit her website at tinkertherobot.com. And to see what other fun activities there are at the Riverside Public Library, visit us at riversideca.gov/library. The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Convenient curbside trash collection services promote a clean and healthy Riverside. To help us provide you with top-quality service, we ask you to follow a few key rules. When placing your trash containers for pickup, please observe the following. Place each container with at least 3 feet separation from each other and at least 6 feet from obstructions such as parked cars, fire hydrants, mailboxes, and trees. Your bin should be placed at the curb no later than 5:30 a.m. on your collection day with the arrow on the lid pointed toward the street to ensure your bins get emptied. If you are experiencing issues with your trash collection or perhaps need a replacement for a damaged trash bin, please contact our customer service call center by using the 311 app or website, or by dialing 951-826-5311 to reach one of our customer service representatives. And for more information about trash services, recycling, or bulky items, visit the Public Works website at riversideca.gov/publicworks.
This place, it's called CryoFix Wellness. We're based in Riverside, California. We are a sports recovery wellness center. We get half athletes or people who are just very active who are looking to recover a lot faster. And then the other half we get is just everyday people who are in chronic pain, chronic inflammation, people who work a lot of hours, who are on their feet all day, that are just looking for more natural ways to help maintain pain relief and help decrease inflammation. Some of the therapies that we offer are whole body cryotherapy, localized cryotherapy, cryofacials, Normatec compression, Theragun therapy, Graston technique, active release therapy, assisted stretching, and cupping. Our most popular therapy is whole body cryotherapy. Essentially, it's cold therapy. I would say for whole body cryotherapy, it's actually a lot easier than a regular ice bath. What it does is it cools the skin really fast, so it helps constrict the veins, which helps flush out toxins that get stuck in the muscles and in the joints, as well as helps fortify the bloodstream, which helps your body heal a lot faster than it would on its own. Riverside, I've been here my whole life, born and raised. It's been really great to just kind of help out my hometown in alternative, natural ways. Probably the best thing about owning this business is seeing someone come in pain and walking out feeling better. Just the other day, we had a high school girl. She came in, could barely walk. She did 2 treatments of the localized cryotherapy, and she came back telling me that she was able to play her game on Saturday. And just seeing that all the time makes me feel really good knowing that I'm providing a service that helps out my community.
The Riverside Libraries have new hours and are now open on Sundays. Now you'll have more time to explore, study, and learn about the things that matter to you the most. The new hours for Arlington, Arlanza, Marcy, La Sierra, Orange Terrace, Eastside, and Casablanca libraries are Tuesday to Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., while the Downtown Main Library is open Tuesday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Friday to Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. To find out more information about the new hours along with events and programs at the library nearest to you, visit riversideca.gov/library.
The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Our convenient curbside trash collection services help promote a clean.
With us, Nick Rice, John Rice. We're back at Zach Erb Stadium on the campus of Noda Vista High School in Riverside. We bring you the battle of undefeateds in the Sun Belt, Hillcrest 5-1 overall, and the Bulldogs of Hemet. Their best 6 games start since 2004. They begin the year 6-0 and poised to make it 7-0 as the Bulldogs offense scored their first 3 drives of the game, look poised to score their 4th before a late interception from Javin Lopez certainly gave the Trojans a chance to counter, but just could not punch it in before the time expired. We reached the half, and Oscar Reyes blasts away the opening kickoff of the second half as we begin what is a consequential half for the Trojans. Jacob McDowell returns to the 35. Nick Rice, John Rice, glad you're with us on Riverside TV. A good one tonight. It's the Trojans down 21-7.
And the Trojans, by the Inland Empire Sports Boost Top 25 poll, we have Hemet rated 15th in the Inland Empire, and you have Hillcrest 22nd. So some good football teams rated. It's been a good game so far. A few uncharacteristic turnovers, the injury to Ramos, and let's see what the adjustment is by the offense to press man when they get in the red zone.
Bailey gets rid of it to Julian Sandoval, and he is crushed just across the line of scrimmage by Lopez. For those of you just joining us, Matthew Ramos, it appears, I'm not certain, but I believe he is the guy in dress clothes on the sideline with the what is that? Boy, I haven't seen those in forever. The things that help your legs.
Crutches.
Crutches. Wow. How did I not know that?
Wow.
By the
crutches.
way,
no, bad thing to see on the sideline.
Yeah. Not positive that's him, but I'm almost positive that's him.
You know, and a truism in football and any sport is next man up. I mean, the attitude has got to be, it's unfortunate, but who's up, who's next, and who's going to execute?
Fajardo slips through a hole, and boy, has this been a dream night for him. The ball got stripped out late. He's down to the 44 of the Bulldogs, a gain of what appears to be 20 on the play, but Fajardo is slow to get up.
You know, and great job. Fajardo has made probably 3 to 4 runs over 20 yards that have extended drives, and he has met the challenge, next man up. Again, another case of next man up, who's going to come in, and that's about culture.
The next man up right now is Robert Bustamante.
The linebacker.
And he gets the call, his first run of the season, and he is stuffed near the line by middle backer Russell Huser, his 24th tackle of the year.
And Bustamante is playing linebacker and is in the top defenders in the league for
second
tackles.
in tackles, 54 this year.
So next man up, and here we go.
For
Bustamante
Falas,
filling in.
A fumble recovery and 2 deflections. Dylan Bailey in at quarterback. He is the sophomore, notching his first game of the year. Julian Sandoval, a gain of 11 on the play.
So one of the keys, I think, to this half is, can Hillcrest find ways to get Sandoval the ball? He wasn't a big factor in the first half, so we'll see if they can get him the ball. And within the third or fourth play, they've already got him the ball. So the receivers, defensive backs, are not playing off the ball.
Robert Bustamante with a head of steam. 15-yard scamper from Bustamante. Makes you wonder why they haven't featured him earlier. First down.
Okay, same play, effective blocking by that Hillcrest line. They're going with some pace here, some tempo, speeding up the pace. The offensive coordinator getting the call in to the quarterback. Again, and now you have, again, a 3-3 with them playing off man or zone coverage. And there you go again. Ball up the middle, moving the chains. Yards
a gain
after
of
contact.
Yep, Trout with the stop. Bustamante first and goal.
Impressive. Now, we're going with tempo. If you see Bustamante here, watch the push of the line. The offensive line gets that push right up the middle, and Bustamante finds that crease.
And he gets leveled at the line of scrimmage by Russell Huser.
So now,
29.
when you get down into the red zone, and now the play calling shrinks a little bit, you have less room to operate if you throw the ball, and now the strategy is going to change by Hemet's defense, and they're going to go with no safety, as we saw. And if you look back there in the end zone, there's no defenders, and you have press man coverage, which means there are 7 men in the box for 5 run blockers.
And those 5 run blockers do a fabulous job. Touchdown, Robert Bustamante, a 7-yard run, and he wasn't touched.
Next man up. Next man up. Great philosophy. It was unfortunate to see Fajardo go down. Bustamante comes in. 3 solid runs. Great adjustment against a 7-man front. They pressure the edge. They're able to crease and run right underneath the pressure. Great movement by the left tackle for Hillcrest, and now we've got it down to a 1-score ball game in the first drive, and the game, the nature of the game, the complexion has changed.
The PAT, it appeared, touched just the edge of the kicker and is no good from Ethan Valdez. Credit to Cameron Stubner, Zuniga, Melvin Alfaro, that offensive line. Here's a look at the big guys on the extra point, but that front 5 on that drive, considering what they were facing, as you mentioned, Coach, a 7-man box just about every time, no safeties, really a fabulous job against that defensive front.
You know, so they made their adjustments, and that's what halftime's about, is for coaches to go in and present a strategy to the players, to sell it, to get that executed, and they were able to do that. Great sign of culture and a calm demeanor. So now here we go with that touchdown run, I believe.
Yep.
Earlier, and you're going to see the left tackle here.
Gabriel Vallejo, 77.
Gabriel just crushes that man.
Wow.
Drives him into the ground. Great cut up, blocking on the perimeter by Sandoval. So here we go. Let's see what Hemet has done, if they're making any offensive adjustments. And we have another onside kick. So Coach Carter comes out, and the staff decides they're going to try to surprise them, and the benefit obviously would be if they could score, they could tie the ball game. So now you have Hemet with the ball at the 48-yard line. They have less yardage to cover, and we'll see if they can come out and have the same effectiveness they've had running the ball, and surprisingly enough, they've been balanced enough to throw the ball and move it as well. So we'll see what their strategy is here coming out to open the second half.
They come out with a pass, and this one against Mayweather is a little too long for Washington and incomplete.
So if we get a replay of this, what you'll notice if you're watching at home is the run blockers, the center, 2 guards, and a tackle will block it like a run. You're going to see an offensive lineman here at the bottom pulling to draw the lineman up as a run play. Okay, and there's a guard pulling, and then you see them pull the ball and throw a fade. And some people would say, and coaches would argue, that there's an illegal man downfield because you're not allowed to go 3 yards downfield on a pass play. And sometimes that happens on RPOs, run-pass options.
Neal tucks the football like a loaf of bread and gains a couple in front of number 8, Noah Mayweather.
So now we have a big third down. Big third down. First big play. We have a substitution on defense. We have a big body coming in. We can get that number. We'll get that to him. And now, big down here. 3rd and 6. We'll see if Hillcrest can come up with a stop. They're playing with no safety as well here.
Off the deep slant, the pass is reeled in on the run by Quentin Skinner, dragged down to the 32. The tackle from Josiah Richards on a pickup of 13.
And you'll see on the replay the defensive backs are off. At the top, 10 yards. It's just a pitch, a catch, and a throw with a big cushion. 5-step pitch and catch, and a first down. They move the chains. And so here we go. First down in the red zone at the 32-yard line.
This offense is one of the most explosive in the Inland Empire, averaging 38 points per game just about. Off the play fake, there's Tyler Trout in open space. He's hard to bring down, but the Trojans did a good job on that play, wrapped up by Albert Guyen.
And what you'll see now, if you look on the defensive side of the ball, the strategy of the defensive staff is they're not playing with the safety either. They've committed, again, 7 defenders to stop the run, and so you have a one-on-one situation. And look at the pursuit by the defensive line here. Great pursuit. Great pursuit to get to the edge. So we'll see if Hemet can take advantage or if they choose to throw the ball with no safety in the middle of the field right now. They're committing 7 men to the run, which means it should be theoretically harder to run the ball with no safety in there.
Now they've thrown the too high safety look for him, so they'll run it. Here's Neal, who runs through the defense and is knocked down to the 28-yard line, wrapped up by Ivan Padilla.
And you'll see the safety come down here from the bottom of the screen, lined up over the second receiver here, and he'll come down over the back. He's lined up, and he comes down in the box on the cutback and makes a big hit.
There's Padilla
right there. And drive. Nice job. All right, here we go. Another big third down play, 3rd and 7, Nick. We'll see if we can stop them here on the Hillcrest side of the ball on defense, again, with no safety.
Just a bit out of field goal range.
Committed to the run.
Lopez incomplete. Intended for Pritchford, and on 4th down, you have to believe they may go for it.
It looks like they are. And what you saw there was another attempt at throwing. They were playing off-man technique, which means there's no safety and there's a big cushion. And the big cushion there on the number 2 receiver was a simple turnaround. Ball placement wasn't there, and now you got a big 4th down here. Big play here on 4th down. We haven't seen any trick plays, any gadgets yet. Different alignment here with the receiver, number 18, at the bottom. Number 19 at the bottom, tight, and they're going deep, it looks like.
They don't look his way. The Trojans had a botched coverage. In fact, they had the safety stepping up, and they had the cornerback going back. All sorts of miscommunication on that play. A touchdown for Keosul Pitchford.
So what you're going to see is a rollout here, and you're going to see the outside receiver run a stop, and the inside receiver looks like he ran a stop and go on the rollout. So take a look at the slot receiver there. He stops, and then he turns and goes. Bit of backyard football, and that's also practice. They're called scramble rules, where receivers will have spots to the ball when the quarterback rolls out. So, again, now we're back to a 2-score game. Little more time off the clock, 4:41 left in the third, and we have 2 drives and 2 touchdowns.
And with 4:41 to go in the third, Hemet leads it by 15. A quick game update. We look around the league. First, Patriot over Rubidoux at the half, 35-0. The Warriors come in 2-3 this year and have played some of their best ball this season today. Yesterday, the Wolves of King High School improved to 6-1 with their drubbing of Corona, 45-10. Arlington and Valley View in a game of special interest for these two teams. The Lions and the Eagles tied at 14. At the half in our other Riverside TV game, Ramona and Notre Vista were tied at 14. And in an upset, into the third quarter, the 1-5 La Sierra Eagles lead Jurupa Valley 20-9. And for folks who need one more reminder, or for folks who say that, I shouldn't provide updates of everything, Dodgers over Padres 2-0.
Yeah, we heard that one already. We are. Let's move on. We're going to move on. That game's done, and now we'll see what the Dodgers can do.
The NLCS will feature the Dodgers and the Mets.
Here we go. Look. All right, couple other scores around that are not so close. 18 Lusinger is down to Palos Verdes. 21. It's a final, 21-14. You have Eagle Rock over Marshall, 48-6. You have Torrance over Peninsula, 33-0. You have a final. Let's see where else. We have some other scores coming in out of the area, and if we have time, we'll get them. Gardena over Banning, 21-14. Kennedy over Fullerton, 14-0. Muir, 43-0 over Burrow. So here we go on the second drive of the half for Hillcrest. Down, it's a 2-score ball game. Down 15 with 4:17 left in the third quarter.
For some weird reason, we're just getting nothing out of the Rancho Poly game. Still nothing on Max Preps, nothing on ScoreStream, nothing online. Somebody, somewhere, let us know what's going on.
Yes.
In the Rancho Poly game. I'm sure Pep Fernandez has his fingertips all over that one. Make sure to join him and the rest of our guys for the Pep Report coming up at 11 o'clock tonight on Riverside TV.
And we do have a score, Moreno Valley at half, up 26-0 over Heritage. If that's correct, that's a little bit of a
Bailey,
surprise.
by the way, in the end zone on a high snap, he turns what could have been a disaster in 2 points into a gain of 2.
So we go from 1st and 15 to 2nd maybe and 13. Another area game, we have West Valley over Temescal Canyon, end of the third quarter, 7-0. And we have a big game, Oaks Christian. There's no score against Bishop Diego at the end of the third quarter. Now, that's a big surprise.
Shout out to Oaks Christian. I believe that is where Kayvon Thibodeau went, if I'm not mistaken. Top 10 pick of the Giants, the New York Football Giants. Julian Sandoval gains about 5.
So now you got a big-time decision to make. I mean, really, it's too early to go for – now you got 3rd and 8. It's more manageable. You have Sandoval getting involved in the short game. Now, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen here, you have a huge cushion at the bottom there on both of those receivers, and they need 8 yards. So see if they can take advantage. There's no coverage on the inside receiver. The safety's playing off, so we'll see if the audible that Coach Carter called will be effective and attack that part of the field.
Bailey gets nailed. Incomplete. What a hit from the Bulldogs' interior line.
And you'll take a look here as they sent one more, it appears, than they could block. And we did see some pressure from the outside, but we'll see. We do see a linebacker coming, and we'll see. Yep, it was the linebacker, and he was missed in blitz pickup. And
James Abner, number 2.
And they were unable to pick up that blitz. It looked like the running back was in pass protection, so they were able to get around the pass protection. It looks like Fajardo's taking an eye on him, and then for whatever reason, He runs by everybody, and you're lucky you don't get another injury on a second-string quarterback because that might be disastrous.
I got to say, Coach, bulletin board material for the Trojans, that's got to be like the 5th time I've seen a Bulldog unblocked to the quarterback tonight.
You know, and that's another thing they do on the sideline there. We've talked about the coaches on the TV when they pull together the running back and the offensive line and they identify their mistakes. That seems to be correctable, and I'm sure they will head right over right now, it looks like, to the TV. The offensive line coach will get over there, maybe with the offensive coordinator, and they'll talk about, okay, if this happens again, was that a missed assignment, or how can we correct that? Because certainly if that play works for the defense, you can expect them to send that pressure again and make sure that Hillcrest blocks it well, or they're going to have trouble getting a third quarterback in if he's injured.
Now, you were talking about defensive alignments on that drive, but those alignments looked very similar to how Hemet played the last drive, kneeled to the 40, a gain of 5. Bustamante makes the tackle, and Robert Bustamante, I mean, they had guys all in the box, but they ran the ball anyways. I'm curious why they elected to throw the ball on that last drive.
Probably because, you know, they had 3rd down and 8. And they just decided they wanted to give a clean look to the quarterback and not to worry too much about a run fake. So, again, it pays off, and now they've got another opportunity inside the 40-yard line. 2 minutes and 16 left in the third.
The Bulldogs are just 2 wins away from their greatest start in program history. The team went 8-0 in 2004 as well, and lead the Trojans by 15. Pitchford with the catch, and Kiasul Pitchford has what appears to be a first down. Indeed, they'll move the chains.
So here you see just a little we'll call a little bubble screen where the inside receiver just speed skate releases to the outside, blocking on the perimeter, and just enough to get a first down. And here we go, moving the chains. Ball's inside the 35 with 1:34 left in the third.
Both teams scored touchdowns on their opening drive of the second half, and then the Trojans bogged down with a 3-and-out. And here comes Draven Lopez on the read option, who is hammered on the sideline, wrapped up late. No flag thrown on a pickup of 9. Nicholas Bernal with the stop.
Very close to a late hit, forcing the free safety to come all the way over. If you look at that, the quarterback, that was a called play because one of the linemen for Hemet definitely pulled and wrapped around to block the outside defender. So that was a planned run by the quarterback, executed very well.
Well, we had come into the game talking about the excellence of Matthew Ramos and his scrambling ability, but Draven Lopez in that regard has stolen the show. Neal takes a seat. That's a first down run, and a helmet that comes off too from Joshua Garcia. Move those chains for number 22, it looked like. No, that's 25, Tatum Iverson.
One of the strategies Hemet is going to repeatedly is for linemen to pull across from one side and block the edge defenders, the defensive ends, and create a seam. They've been able to do that 2 plays in a row. And there it is again, 3rd time where they pulled a lineman to the other side.
Neal inside the 15, a strong run, and the game plan looks very clear by this point. Bustamante another tackle, as they have only thrown the ball twice on this drive.
Again, watch the guard, which is the man next to the center at the top of the screen, 55. He's pulled the last 2 plays. He comes out, comes around to the point of attack, and he blocks the first defender he sees. And Hemet has got something going here with the ball on the ground. They're eating the clock. They've run out the rest of the third quarter. They're up 2 scores, and they're getting close to putting it out of reach with a 3-score game. Yeah. Hillcrest is challenged with some injuries to their starting running back, although Fajardo has stepped in and done well. Ramos is hurt, which is a serious challenge to the Hillcrest offense. But again, Bustamante came in for Fajardo, and he stepped up, and he was the 3rd running back who's playing in his 4th year as a senior, and next up has worked. We'll see if they can get the receiver involved. Sandoval, for the most part, has been taken away by defensive scheme, and they've been unable to get him the ball in any meaningful way down the field. And let's see if they can find a way to get him the ball to extend some drives and maybe come up with a big play here. They're down by 2 scores. 2nd and 4 to start the 4th quarter.
Ramona leads by 1 score over Notre Vista late in the 3rd quarter. Arlington over Valley View 21-14 as well in the 3rd quarter. Quick game updates around the league. A critical development with Arlington in front of Valley
Wow.
View.
Wow.
There's a fumble, and that's the big play they needed. The Trojans have got it. Number 32, Zaya Guerrero.
Just what Hillcrest needed to change momentum. Let's see if they can take advantage, make it a 1-score ball game. If they can drive, they've got 85 yards to go. And Hillcrest needs to have a methodical drive or perhaps come up with some kind of trick play or a big play to get Sandoval involved. And here we see the ball was snapped and hit the quarterback right in the face mask.
I mean, the worst spot.
Right in the face mask. Miscommunication.
Down their starting quarterback and their starting running back. Louis Fajardo sweeps to his left and picks up 16.
Hammond has gone to a little different strategy this time. They are now playing with a safety. The defensive backs are playing off 10 yards. And Hillcrest does a good job of getting the ball run to the boundary, to the bench. And sometimes there are coaches who prefer to see the ball run to the coaching staff, to the bench, so they can have a better idea of what's going on. Some coaches are known for calling what are called bench plays. They have a menu where they go and put the ball in play to the bench.
Deep shot to Nicholas Shaw, and that was tipped by Kia Sewell Pitchford. The Trojans are averaging this season 7 yards a carry. And you could see when they run the ball, it almost looks like they're a little more comfortable tonight.
And you get Fajardo back, and then you get
Nicholas Shaw.
Nicholas Shaw beating the defense and just a hand on. So maybe they'll go back to that again. We would keep that in mind when you see Shaw down to the bench. And so now we got a big 2nd down and 10.
Fajardo wrapped up by Malohi Sipowicz, number 51. Gain of a couple on the play.
So you're going to get a 3rd down here, crucial call. I think it may be a little early to go 4 down 4th, deep in your own territory. So you got a big 3rd down play, and what you have here is, again, the defensive backs are playing off when you get a wide shot. You have a lot of cushion on the receivers across the board, and you have 6 men in the box, and they blitz off the edge.
And that pass intended for Shaw is picked off by Kia Sewell Pitchford. Dylan Bailey in this passing attack, I hate to be a broken record, John. They are so much better running the ball tonight.
They have been. They have been. And it's hard to call, it's hard to get the confidence to call a run on 3rd and 8. There's a miscommunication there.
And a great read from Pitchford. He jumped that route right away and picked it off.
It was an inside out. It was an out route by the inside receiver and a quick post by the outside receiver. And it seems like the ball was thrown in between there. Might have been a miscommunication. But now they've got the ball and they can make it a 3-score game with 10:25 left. Let's see if they can take advantage at the 38-yard line.
Bulldogs had that snap hit the helmet of their quarterback, Javin Lopez, and did not pay anything for it. Bubble screen to Kia Sewell Pitchford, who's been busy tonight. In fact, is so far my player of the game. Run out at the 32, a gain of 5, maybe 6 on that one.
There's this saying that a lot of coaches have and teams and cultures is you can make a play without making the run yourself. And you'll see here the outside receiver may do a great job blocking. There's one play, and then watch the perimeter blocking. He gets his body between the defender and the ball carrier, and he didn't carry the ball, but he definitely made the play. So now you've got a 2nd and 3. The clock has been stopped. And we got 2nd down and 3, and the ball's at the 31-yard line.
Neal inside of the 30 and stacked up by Bustamante on a gain of about 5 and a first down. You know, the Bulldogs' running game has been very productive, too. This team averages 8 yards a run this season, and a lot of those carries right in the teeth of that defense. You could see them. They're getting a little fatigued, and one of their lead linemen out of the game. That is what appears to be David Rodriguez, number 50.
And here's a replay here and that's what's considered a light box. There's 5 defenders near the line of scrimmage, and again, that scheme where number 55, the guard, is pulling to the outside, and it's a unique blocking scheme that they've used consistently here in the second half.
And that blocking has been marvelous. Another pulling guard, but this time the Trojans blitz it right in the middle. They find the seam of the offensive front and bring him down. Ivan Padilla brings him down to the backfield.
Great analysis. They pulled the lineman again. It's been successful, and Hillcrest was able to shoot one of the gaps to blitz a seam and have an answer for that scheme. And they haven't been able to slow that down so far in the second half. So now you've got them 2nd and 11. See if you can put them in 3rd and long with a big stop here. Again, now they're playing with no safety. So you want to take a look at the wide shot. They're committing a lot of players to the run here, and it looks like they're going to blitz.
Another muff snap, and Lopez goes down. Number 42, Reyes Ortiz with the stop.
And here you go. Hillcrest has produced, with a little bit of help on 2nd down, they've had a couple of muff snaps here in the last 2 series. And now you have a really big opportunity for Hillcrest defense to make a stop here and force Hemet to make a decision on 4th down whether they want to try to go for it, if they can stop them, or turn the ball over. And they're kind of in a no man's land to punt if they stop them. So big down here. Again, they're playing with no safety. It looks like they're showing blitz. As you can see there, right in front of the referee in the backfield, there are no safeties.
Lopez airs it out, and that is incomplete to Pitchford. Slightly overthrown. He had Pitchford for a touchdown.
So it seems Hemet has found something to get the ball off against the blitz, and that is to roll the pocket, so to speak, and get the quarterback on the edge of the defense. And they're able, with a 7-man blitz, to get the ball off quickly, and they just were unable to get to it. And
I think Pitchford slowed down on that route. It was a beautiful thrown ball from Lopez, but it appeared Pitchford had a touchdown. But, you know, that's the hearing footsteps that sometimes create the conveniently slower receivers later in the route.
What do you think, Nick? 4th and 17. What are you thinking here on offense?
I'm thinking same exact play. They've got Pitchford to the same side.
And they get to the edge.
Yes, they do. And it's not to Pitchford. This one to the end zone for Trout. And yet another overthrow. But the Bulldog defense has been stout since the middle of the 3rd quarter, and they'll lean on that defense with 7:24 to go in the game.
Now, if you see the replay, 15 is lined up inside the inside trip. He runs straight down the middle of the field, and somehow he is not
zone
covered.
Beater.
And he runs right between the free safety and the corner. He's wide open, and they catch a break. And so now, here you go. You have an opportunity to shorten the lead to 1 score with 7:24 left in the 4th quarter.
End of the 3rd from Novi, 21-14, Ramona over the Braves of Notre Vista. Couple yards on the ground from Fajardo to begin this drive.
So you're not quite at the point where you have to panic in any way, but you definitely need to score here on this drive, and especially if you're going to run the ball, it becomes very critical to end this drive with a score. If you're going to run clock, you better you better earn a score for sure. There's a slant pass. It falls incomplete, and they were wide open. That combination was the same one that was run on the interception last time. They ran a slant route by the outside receiver and a bubble route, and they were able to get an open receiver, but they couldn't get the ball to him. So that play has been open twice. Once been an interception and once has been an incomplete. And you see a big cushion at the bottom. Big cushion. Wide open receiver.
And there is number 15, Josiah Richards, the transfer from Centennial.
Nice to see him in the game, and if you ever get a replay of that one, you have the wide receiver, Nick, open. Look at the bottom here, the trips receiver. He gets behind the entire defense, and they could have had a touchdown if they would have been able to get him the ball. They just didn't see him.
Still a layered throw and a first down and a beautiful play from Bailey. Another first down run with 6.5 to go from Fajardo. Before the next play, Coach, we've got a game update out of Riverside. Rancho Christian 21, Pauley 14. They say first quarter. That may be a third quarter score. We've got an injured Bulldog with 6.5 to go.
Throwing of the helmet's not a good sign. He's a little frustrated.
Cramping.
It looks like a cramp position on that.
Now, we got a horrible angle for the jersey number. My guess is 65 from Hemet Levi Serta.
No, you don't want to. You definitely don't want to have an injury on on any side of the ball. But
maybe 57.
Look at Fajardo, his vision and his ability to sidestep, jump cut.
65, Levi.
And just what a job with the next man up strategy for Fajardo, who's able to come back in after stepping off. He had a little bit of an injury. And then we had Bustamante come in and lead the team and score on a drive. And now we're down to 6:18. And Hillcrest is on the move, able to run the ball. And let's see if they can still get the ball to Sandoval, who has been kind of restricted by the defense of Hemet. Let's see if we can get him involved, maybe get him the ball, get a one-on-one matchup, and certainly he hasn't been given that opportunity deep. Let's see if they can dial something up here in a critical situation. Here's another here's a run by Fajardo, and his ability here to just slow down, read, bounce off the edge. What an effective game for him, stepping in and stepping up.
Yeah, just like we mentioned in the first half, Fajardo, a fabulous story to come from, a bench warmer to a backup this season to now becoming one of the feature backs in this offense. He got his opportunity tonight, and maybe he laced up an extra pair of socks before the game tonight. I'm sure he had plenty of nerves throughout school today, throughout school this week. And whatever he did, whatever he ate for breakfast, whatever he put on his jersey, it's worked tonight. Over 125 yards and has been one of the best players in this offense. Gain of a yard, maybe 2 on that play. Forward progress actually gives him 3. Julian Sandoval, number 2.
So one of the strategies Hemet is employing is to send extra blitzers. So Coach Carter's lining up a tight end in the box. He has an extra blocker there. So they have an extra blocker, but Hemet has done a good job sending pressure away from a tight end or away from trips from the boundary or the short side of the field, and it's been very effective. Job.
There we go. Brooklyn Hughes, the Trojans were trying to bring in a couple of transfers, Hughes and Josiah Richards, and it's Richards with the first down, a former Husky of Centennial.
Nice to see Richards get involved. He made a couple big plays last week as well. And there's a middle screen. Great throw, ball placement, yards after catch. Great to see that young man involved in the offense contributing, and what a job on yards after catch. And now the ball is inside the 15-yard line. Okay. Ball's at the 12-yard line. You're down to 4:52. Clock is run. You're trading yards for clock.
Right.
More imperative for them to score and make it a one-score ball game.
Bailey throws the quick slant, a sensational catch from Richards.
Here you go. Richards just makes a beautiful catch in crunch time. Just a bullet. Just a bullet thrown on the slant play. They're going tempo here.
And Fajardo is spilled at about the 4-yard line by the combination of James Abner and Russell Huser. As mentioned, tick, tick, tick. Hillcrest does have all their timeouts, but only 4 minutes to go. If you don't score here, the game is over.
Here's Bustamante, a little bit bigger back who did in crunch time on the last drive, the drive prior, where they scored. Bustamante's in the game. Now you have, again, no safety. You have 7 run defenders in the box for 5 offensive blockers and man-to-man coverage.
And Bailey's hit as he throws. It's a touchdown for Hillcrest. Josiah Richards.
You know, seeing Josiah Richards come up and, as again, next man up. Key to a winning culture is when one offensive weapon is taken away, that someone steps up and there's an alternative plan on the offense. And it's really great to see Josiah step up and have 3 key catches. And now you're down to a 1-score ball game. Let's see if they go for 2 here, because now they're down 9 points, and they need at least 1 to make it a 1-score game. So if they don't get this here, it'll be a 2-score game. Very critical call here with 3:47 left.
Robert Bustamante, 7 career rushing touchdowns during 4 seasons with the Trojans, and he'll flank the quarterback.
And they're in man coverage.
Bailey throws it to him.
Okay.
No, it's a touchdown.
Tackle-eligible play. Sorry, Coach. Tackle-eligible.
Nguyen leaked out and scores.
Watch the tight end. He's a tight end on the line. He kind of hides like a lineman. It looks like it is an unbalanced line. Look at number 12 lined up as a tackle, and he comes
Oh, no,
out.
he was leaked out there.
Yes. What a great play call. That's a touchdown.
That's the okay.
And so the 2-point play, if we can get that on, that was definitely – they snuck a receiver. So the tight end is supposed to motion, and it uncovers a tight end
Hudson
lined up
Nguyen
as
there
a
on the
tackle.
left. Yep. Good call, Coach. I
And,
didn't see that.
Yeah, we used to run that play. We got it from LSU and called it Bengal. It's where you uncover a tight end with a number. He runs up to the line, covers his number, and when teams play man, you motion the tackle over, and nobody will cover him. So great play call against man coverage. So now you got a ball game, 28-21, 3:47 left. They're back in the ball game despite losing Ramos and despite losing their first running back. Great to see other people step up on the offense.
Longtime coach John Rice, can you hear the energy in his voice about a good play call?
Just love strategy on both sides. I mean, you got to put your players in a position to be successful, and that's part of our job as a coaching staff. And there you go. Look at this.
Third onside of the night, a dream for the big man as he outruns everybody for a touchdown, Matthew Gregory.
So the third onside kick, and the nightmare strikes. It takes a perfect bounce for him to pick up the ball. Anywhere else, he falls on the ball. They dream probably in practice and say, Coach, I'm going to return it, and they probably say, be quiet and fall on the ball, and there we go.
His best Dan Connolly impression, for those who remember that big run from the Patriots lineman against Green Bay many years ago. What a return from Matthew Gregory. I got to say, it was like parting the Red Sea. All the defense ran right by him.
Just heartbreaking when you put yourself in a position and make a great drive and a great play call to come within 1 score. But that's the game of football.
Sure is.
They're facing some adversity right now to come back. They have less clock to trade for yards, so it becomes a little more imperative that they move the ball quickly so they have another chance to get the ball back. So it becomes now another 2-score game. It's a 14-point ball game, and the answer by Hemet was just fortuitous, and they took advantage of the bounce.
Yeah, you brought it up at the half that the score doesn't indicate the talent level. It's really an evenly matched game, but Travis Carter brought it up last week, and tonight, I mean, you could point to it. It's easy to be up here, bird's eye view, and say, hey, there's a lot of mistakes made on the field, but there's a lot of mistakes from Hillcrest tonight on the field.
And also, look, those coaches, those staffs do a great job. They're combined 11-1. They do a fantastic job. They both made great play calls. The strategy has been back and forth, effective strategy. And now we'll see what Hillcrest can do down their quarterback, down their first running back, and they've been able to score 21 points. And they have a chance here to go within one score with it'll be 3 minutes, around 3 minutes if they can score and do it quickly.
Reyes drives the ball to the up man at about the 18, Jacob McDowell. Upended on a return of 13. Washington joins Gray on the stop. So Hillcrest, if they can't come back in the game, it would be just their second loss of the season. Meanwhile, Hemet would be 7-0 for the first time since 2004. Plenty of success early this year, but in a must-win, Hemet leads by 14.
You know, one of the things you try to do, no matter whether you win or lose, is look for silver linings and balance your outlook of the game. And one of the positive things has been that they have scored 21 points and threw an interception where they could have been at 28 with their quarterback Ramos out, with their running back out, and also with the defense being able to stymie for the most part Sandoval. And the encouragement also for Hillcrest is that they find other playmakers in their offense. And that is what you're going to need to have when a defense is able by strategy to take away a good player. Other people have to step up in the game plan and make plays happen.
Jacob McDowell, the intended target here. That's incomplete. Hard to set up more of a typical offense in this sort of situation, Coach. A 3rd and long, 3rd and 13 coming up.
Yep. Now, again, if you see that replay, you're going to see a pressure, a blitzing defensive back off the edge from the boundary, and they've done that away from the running back. So the running back's to the right of the screen to the offensive left. Then the safety comes off the edge away from the running back, and that pressure has been effective all night. And there you have a short pass. And look at that.
That is some effort after the catch. Robert Bustamante on 3rd and 13. Welcome to the Trojan roster, Bustamante. First down.
Wow.
Trojan offense.
Clutch
you
down.
Said it.
Here we go. We got 3rd and 13. Okay, a little running back screen. Effective lineman down the field. Great cut up the field. He made 2 people miss. And there you go again. Here we go, Bustamante.
With a head of steam and a good block, too. Down to the 29. This is just what the doctor ordered.
Wow.
Trout with the stop.
Wow, Bustamante, 2 plays in a row. He is the 3rd running back. He plays linebacker. He's 2nd in the league in tackling in the Sun Belt League. Watch this run here right after the screen. Brings them a different dimension. Okay, look at him. The offensive line's done a great job. So now you have first down. You get Bustamante again up the field, breaking tackles, and you get another 5 yards on first down. So Bustamante is carrying the team on his back the last 3 plays.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder where was this offense earlier in the game. Trojans with ease moving the ball down.
They're able to run the ball against 7 defenders in the run box, and there is a fade.
And that may be interference on Washington.
So we'll see who they call that on. It would be, the ball is on the 21, so it's inside the 25. And watch this play here where they throw the ball. There's push off there. Okay, it was at the 21-yard line was the line of scrimmage, but it was the play was called inside the 5, so you're going to get the ball down to the 10-yard line, about half the distance to the goal, about a 10-yard penalty it ended up being. So now you got a first down, a minute 40 left, and you do have to score. There's got to be a score here, and then probably an onside kick, and then you have the ball put on the ground.
And Bailey tries to make something happen down to the 10-yard line where Huser makes the stop with 1.5 minutes to go. This is it. You've got to punch it in, and you've got to do it now. The Trojans are 1 for 3 tonight on onside kicks. Usually you don't try that many in a season, let alone a ball game. Bustamante picks up the blitz.
There you go.
Underthrown to Sandoval. Was that Richards? Yes, it was. Sandoval was right in position. A bit behind him. Richards for the touchdown.
And if you look at that, you love to see Richards again. You have Sandoval on the outside on the replay looking. Sandoval's at the top of the screen. He runs a slant.
And Richards ran a slant.
Yeah, and you get double slants. So watch the two outside receivers. They run slants. And he has a choice for two receivers. Look at that. What a grab.
Sandoval's throwing his hands up. That was my touchdown.
He'll take it. So now they're going for one.
And that kick is blocked.
So now you're at an 8-point game. You have a minute 18, which you have to score touchdown in 2 with a minute 18 left. So again, how big are the turnovers? How big is the slow start in the first half?
Now, what is interesting, Coach, is if they don't recover, Hillcrest has all of their timeouts. Granted, they haven't really been able to stop them much tonight, but
they'll be able.
There's a chance. Yeah.
Encouraging, because they can point to this, win or lose, and say, look, we overcame adversity. We overcame 3 major injuries. We overcame a defensive scheme that took out our best receiver for the most part. Not to any disparagement at all to Sandoval, but look at it. Look at the fight in us. Look at us step up and have the next man up philosophy and fit those people in, and people come through. So you have a ball game here with a minute 18 left. Okay. The last onside kick we had run back for a touchdown. So what happens if that's not a touchdown, Nick?
Right.
I mean, I know what if is a beautiful 100% hindsight strategy, but the game should be tied.
Game of inches. Allegria the onside, and Matthew Gregory scored once. He wasn't going to do it again. The coaches might get furious, but it is a recovery from the Bulldogs.
Okay. So you get a couple seconds run off. You got 3 timeouts here. You know that Hemet, if they get a first down, that'll cause the clock to run. If Hillcrest can call 3 timeouts in a row, earning a first down here would be critical to closing the game out for Hemet.
If Hemet gets a first down after this play, then the game will officially be over. On this play, and the Trojans still have a shot.
So you're preaching ball security here. You're preaching 5-point pressure on the ball, not turning it over. If you're on defense, you're screaming strip the ball, force a turnover any way you can.
And they've done that a few occasions tonight. And with like a loaf of bread, Neal hangs onto it for dear life and picks up a couple. Spilled by Reyes Ortiz, the sophomore. And the first timeout from Travis Carter called with about 1:09 to go in the fourth quarter. They ran the clock to 1:02.
And that strategy where they're pulling a lineman from the opposite side of the ball, and there he is.
Look at that ball protection.
He's got 5 points. He's got 2 arms, 2 hands on the ball. That blocking scheme has been effective for him all night long.
Yeah. So here we go with the Trojans. This is a team that comes in 5-1 this year, facing arguably the best team in the league, and there's a lot to take from this game, like you mentioned. Right down to the wire, considering how they started, is a huge win for this football team.
You never want to lose. Obviously, you want to win every game, and you want to take lessons away from every ball game, win or lose. And again, this one is we faced adversity. We don't have any excuses. We're playing an undefeated team. If you have to point to the lucky bounce of whatever you want to call it, the lucky bounce on the onside kick, or this is a tie ball game with a minute left. So you want to try to strip the ball here. You've got to get the ball stripped out. You need maybe a bad snap. Okay.
No bad snap, but Neal is in danger and buried in the backfield.
Okay, you got 56 seconds left. All right, here you go. What do you think on 3rd and 6, Nick? What are you doing there, OC? 3rd and 6, buddy.
I'm thinking you might need to get a new OC. I'm just playing.
I think – go ahead.
I'm thinking what you do, and I know this sounds crazy, but I would, especially because of the experience and what I've seen out of this quarterback, I would go pass. And if the quarterback doesn't see a good first read, fall down and force him to use a timeout. But the Trojans have shown some lapses in the secondary throughout the night.
I think that's a very safe strategy, and if they had to punt on fourth, I don't think that's a bad thing to do because their defense has done a good job. Their Bustamante really has torn the defense up.
Right.
So you want to make them drive. So if they don't get a first down here, you might seriously think about punting the football, and we'll see what that is here on a big drama moment here in the ball game.
3rd and 9, late in the ball game. They do keep it on the ground with the tailback, and Neal is knocked down at the 42 by Zaya Guerrero.
Okay, so now you have 4th down. Hillcrest has used all their timeouts. You can't stop the clock. If you're the OC, call your play. Do you want to punt the ball, play it safe, and make them drive? Do you want to kick the ball at a punt formation out of bounds so there's no return? Do you want to risk a blocked punt? Do you want to try for a first down? Do you want to run a fake? Okay, it looks like punt formation. Certainly the situation odds would be they would punt the ball and try to play defense, but then you run across a possibility of blocking the kick or of a big return. So let's see if they play. Here we go. They're lined up.
A la Colts and Patriots many years ago with a wacky fake. They do elect to run the ball. There is no fake.
Oh.
And here comes the return man near the first down. No flag thrown. That may have been a game winner for James Abner. Very close to the first down.
Jet sweep formation. Big moment. Confident moment for Hemet. Very confident moment. They basically were saying is if we don't get a first down, you're not going to be able to score.
Yeah, they need the 38. Did he get the 38? Absolutely. That's a game winner for the Bulldogs if the refs point it right, and they do. The Hemet Bulldogs, it was an interesting fourth quarter, but they come away, barring a complete disaster, with a 35-27 league win.
So they'll get into what's usually called a victory formation. You practice this on Thursdays for these situations. They have a defender back. You take the snap and take a knee. They won't be able to stop the clock. We'll see if they make them run one more play. But, I would say Hemet was fortunate. They did a good job to score 35. Their offense scored 4 touchdowns. They scored to win the game on an onside kick return. Otherwise, this is a tie ball game. So they did whatever they had to do to win the game. I don't think it's a total. There are some lessons to be learned by Hillcrest, facing adversity, executing, but for a special teams mishap on a bounce, they play the 7-0 Hemet. They play them even the entire game, down a quarterback, down 2 running backs, and having their receiver Sandoval taken away by scheme. So we're on to an interesting Sunbelt season as we finish week 2, Nick.
Updated Sunbelt standings, Hemet and Rancho Christian, if Rancho hangs on to that lead, stand atop the Sunbelt at 2-0. Hemet will play host to Valley View, who joins Pauley at the bottom of the division. Hillcrest and Arlington are in the middle at 1-1 overall. Trojans 5-2, and the Lions are 4-3. Hemet won this one with just a blitzkrieg offensively of their running back Drew Neal and some beautiful passes from Draven Lopez. Kia Sewell Pitchford is my player of the game with how he played on both ends of the ball. I mean, the Bulldogs had some playmakers tonight. Trojans hung in with that to 8, down a couple starters, but overall, Hemet is a team to be reckoned with, and I would argue a very clear favorite to go 10-0 in the regular season.
That's why you play the game. They certainly have a leg up and have played. They've played Hillcrest, which seems to be a very strong team in the league. I would also go back, and if I may, I would like to put a word in for Fajardo for stepping up for a runner-up and strong consideration. What a job he did stepping in, and the pressure was put on him even more to perform once Ramos was out because the defense could key on him. They loaded the box much of the time, And also shout out to the Hillcrest staff for making adjustments when they had the next man up, and kudos to them for the philosophy and the culture built to not make excuses when teams are hurt and to have the philosophy of next man up. Things happen, and let's go forward and let's develop culture and do well.
By the way, congrats to Ken Mashinsky and the Rams for knocking out Notar Vista tonight, 35-14. Big win. That'll shake things up. Join Pep tonight. I'd love to hear his thoughts on exactly what this means in the city of Riverside in CIF football. Novi crushed the Rams last year. They make amends on the road 1 year later. Tonight, Hemet knocks out Hillcrest 35-27. Bulldogs improved to 7-0. Trojans to 5-2. For John Rice and the rest of our outstanding crew, I'm Nick Rice saying so long from Zach Earp in Notar Vista, where the Bulldogs dispatched the Trojans and are 7-0. This is the CIF and Riverside football on Riverside TV. Good night.